This is Barbara with Cana Girl Speaks podcast. My voice, your voice. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Barbara with the Cana Girl Speaks podcast, and I am so excited to be recording on this afternoon. And I'm excited to be have these two young people on the podcast. And I'm going to have them introduce themselves to those that are watching on YouTube and those that are listening on the Anchor podcast. So, Leah?
Well, hello, I'm Leah Blackard, and I'm a Corsicana native, born and raised here, graduated from high school here, and then chose to come back and raise my family. So for a living, I run the Palace Theater and the Navarre Council of the Arts, and in my free time, I'm a member of the CISD Board of Trustees for more than a decade. So I'm excited to be here this afternoon with my fellow trustee to talk about some important and exciting things happening here in our community.
Yes, and Mr. Ed.
Well, I'm Father Ed Munga. I'm the pastor at St. John's Episcopal Church. I wasn't born here, but I got here.
Got here.
And in a job where people stay about 3 years, I've stayed 20.
Wow.
So we found our home, and this is our place where we raised our family and love it here, and just it's going to be our home forever. And I recently got paroled from being with you guys on the school board after 11 and a half years. So I'm excited to keep doing stuff, but glad to be here. Glad to be on the Cana Girl Speaks podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Cana Girl Speaks podcast. And I wanted to bring you on because we have something very important that's coming up. And so I wanted you two to talk about this upcoming election because we have an important item on the election, and that's going to be the bond. So why don't one of you talk about the bond?
Well, I think that, as a member of the Board of Trustees, this has been a multi-year plan, almost a decade plan for us. It was quite a while back that we started the planning process to where we got community members, business people, teachers, even students involved in what did we see for the future of CISD and how were we going to make it to the end of that goal. And there was definitely some needs in our schools, some renovations, some updating. All of our schools needed it. We have an aging school facility for sure. We did some wonderful building in the 20s and the 50s here in Corsicana ISD, but it was time for a major overhaul really on all the buildings. So as we know, we've worked hard to really bring those buildings up to speed to where we think that they should be. And kind of the last puzzle piece is this Corsicana High School piece. As you know, Corsicana High School was built in 1970, and while we have added on and done some renovation and basic maintenance, just like our homes, 50 years means it's time for new plumbing, new roofs, new HVACs, things that you don't like to see. They're not as pretty, but they are important to the educational component. So really, this just came about as the last piece in this decades-long renovation for our community and for our students.
So, Ed, do you have something you want to say?
Sure. Well, I think Leah makes great points. It's important for everybody to know that the board has been very proactive. The board has made sure that every campus has been touched in a significant way. And of course, we built a new Corsicana Middle School to help with that. So we really need to finish the project that's going on. And as you guys know, the audience doesn't know that we wanted to do this back 2 years ago, that we really planned to do this 2 years ago, but then COVID hit. And so we decided it wasn't a good time to do it. And now it's really important that we finish what we started because it's not going to get any better.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we're at a spot where the school needs attention, and if it's just not going to get better. So we need to go ahead and get the work done now.
So how have you tried to get the community to know about this bond, and how have you educated them about the bond?
Well, one of the things I'm able to do now, not on the board anymore, is to be the chairman of a political action committee. It's the Vote Yes for Corsicana Kids PAC, and we've been promoting and putting up signs. You've probably seen them around town. Have a Facebook page. We've sent out 2 mailers. There's another mailer coming out. Folks will get text messages and phone calls in the next couple of weeks from Leah and from Mayor Denbo urging them to vote for the bond. And so we're just really trying to get the word out. And of course, while the board members put out information, we put out fires. That's what I've been telling people. When citizens don't understand or are upset or have wrong information, then we try to get them the right information and take all that on, because you can't advocate, but we can. So we telling people what the truth is about the situation.
Well, I think additionally, we have had 6 opportunities just at the high school alone where the community could come out on all of these different days and times to walk the facility, to hear the bond presentation, to see for themselves what the facility looks like, what the needs of the facility are, and where we intend to use that money. And so we still have one left this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at the Rogers Administration Building. There's going to be an opportunity to look at those numbers, look at those pictures, ask questions, look and see, completely transparent what is going on. And I think also any of them can go to CISD.org, where there is a tab right at the top that says, 2022 CISD bond. And there is more information than you could ever possibly need. Hundreds of, frequently asked questions, the estimates, pictures, everything that you could need is right there. So really, that information is out there, and I hope that people will educate themselves on what's there.
And there's on CISD.org, there's a video. On our Vote Yes Facebook page, there's a video. And if you want a more in-depth video, if you go to the NAVCO Chronicle Facebook page, there's a 30-minute video that I did with them, going around every aspect of the school. So it shows everything in detail.
Okay. Fantastic.
So she live streamed it while we did it. So I mean, there's plenty of information, but like Leah said, there's been lots of tours. But there's no reason, because of technology now, everybody can see exactly what we're talking about. We've got the information out there for you.
Yeah. So when can they start voting?
Early voting starts this coming Monday, April the 25th, 7 a.m. At the former CISD Administration Building, now the Navarro County Annex, and that will go for 10 days. And then after that, May 7th is your regular polling day, and vote at any location in the county from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Do they have to have their voter registration card?
Make sure you bring either a voter registration card or some form of picture ID. And if you have one of those, then you'll be allowed to vote.
So if somebody has any more questions, they want to talk to somebody about the bond, how can they reach out?
Well, I'll put my cell phone number out there. They give me a call at 903-851-2493. Go to Vote Yes on Facebook. We're there, and I'll take any calls day or night. So I've been answering questions all the time. So that's just what we're going to do.
Okay. Well, I think another option is if you have financial questions, also on the CISD.org, there is a completely link to audits, debt, anything that you might possibly have questions about that on is also on the CISD page. There is everything right there for you to see, even a check register. So if you have any questions about that, it is right out there for you to see.
And that's where we'll point you probably if you call me. But I'm happy to collect information and get it out to people so that it's a little bit quicker. But so everything is there. It's just up to the voters to go look at.
Okay. So is there anything else you want to just, any final words?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of points that we need to make at the end. I know I opened my tax appraisal letter yesterday and said, well, come on, give me a break, right? But we have to understand that that's because of how hot the real estate market has been.
Yes.
It's the law that our appraisal district has to adjust to the market.
Yeah.
The value of property in Navarro County has gone up, just like everywhere else.
Right.
And so, we understand that people look at that and go, wow, I can't afford to do this bond because it's going to cost me, it's not going to cost you a lot more on your taxes. So if your house went up like mine did, it went from not having a Whataburger once a month to not having a Whataburger and a shake once a month. Okay.
Yeah. Right. We're talking about minimum change.
From $9 to $12.
Right.
And mine went up 30%.
Yeah.
So it's not this huge burden. The other thing, the little secret is, of course, that number's not final.
Yeah.
Don't blame the kids for the appraisal of their home.
Yeah.
Make sure you read that letter and click on those links. Appeal your appraisal.
Yeah.
Get your property value down.
Yeah.
They're ready to negotiate with you. That's just a starting offer. So get that down.
Yeah.
But don't punish the kids for that. It's not their fault. The other thing is, and Leah's got a great point to make. That's the last word. But I'm going to tell you this much. If you read the papers, you know that we're in inflation right now. And if you read the papers, the government is saying that they're going to have to raise the interest rate to 8.5% in order to get over this inflation.
Yeah.
And right now we're at 0.5%,
Mm-hmm.
which means that when we sell these bonds, we don't have to pay a lot of interest on
Right.
them. If you wait much longer,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to cost you a ton more money,
Mm-hmm.
and that means that's less work that you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, this is the moment when we can do this. The
Yes.
circumstances are right.
Right.
I know everybody wants to build a new high school. We can't afford
Right.
that yet,
Yeah.
but we got to do what we can to save this one. And Leah has a wonderful point about why you have to do it right now. I mean,
Well, I just think that it has to happen.
Yeah.
It's we can't kick this can down the road any. I mean, it's
Yeah.
inevitable.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we do it now when interest rates are lower? Our bond rating's excellent,
Yeah.
excellent bond rating. We have a low debt ratio. It's going to just deteriorate more. And
Yeah.
I just think that sacrifices that we make are worth it for our kids. And we all know that great schools make great communities. So the bottom line is we can only be better if we all do this together for the kids.
So I always ask my guests, I ask some of my guests, what kind of legacy would you like to leave, Ed, Leah? Because you're a pastor,
well,
Leah, a community person.
that's a great question, Barbara. As I'm looking at the downhill side of my career right now. And I mean, professionally, I know that I've helped some people over the course of my time, and hopefully done well. I've kept something going for a long time. That's been a blessing too. But really, my legacy here is going to be that I kept some things going and made them better, whether it's the schools or my church, for what's about to happen
Yeah.
in this community. And we need people that were willing to stand in the gap and say, okay, Corsicana's here,
Yeah.
but it's going to be here.
Yeah.
And so we've got to bridge it.
Yes.
And I think that's what I've done in my church. I think that's what we've done in the schools, is to bridge that. And now we're like on the verge of some great, big, giant things happening in this city. And so we need to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think all three of us agree that there's been times that this has not been easy, and there's probably more times that it's not easy than it is.
Yeah.
But we all can look at ourselves in the mirror at night and say that we never made a decision that wasn't best for kids. And I'm not talking about yours, and mine. I'm talking about all of the
kids.
children, because all three of us made decisions that weren't beneficial to our own children.
Yeah.
But we did it for the overall community. So, I certainly hope that we're all seen as having a servant's heart, and that, that we put forth what was best for this community. And I know what those teachers here in CISD did for me growing up. And I'm seeing what it's doing for my own children and nieces and nephews. And so I just think they deserve it. I think they deserve it. I think we deserve it as a community. And I think it's just really going to put us to the next level here.
Well, I'm so excited. So, we know what we would like for you to do, but, come, next week, starting Monday, you make the choice. And so just vote, vote however you decide you want to vote. But I encourage everybody to vote. If you're a registered voter, vote.
And I say vote yes, because I can. So
educate yourself.
Educate yourself. Right.
And go vote for Corsicana.
And if you have any questions, call Ed.
Yep.
I mean, he'll walk you through. Like you said, there's a lot of information out there, and he'll help you find the information that you need. But make sure you educate yourself before you decide whatever decision you decide to make. All right.
All right. Thanks, Barbara.
Well, thank you so much for just taking the time out for being on the Cana Girl Speaks podcast. You guys are wonderful. I enjoyed serving with you, and so continue to be on, continue to do what you do in our community.
Will do.
So with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for always supporting the Cana Girl Speaks podcast. Have a good evening and a good weekend. Thank you.
This is a Legacy Recording Studio production.